After the indulgence of hunkering down during winter, an internal spring clean is almost like a holiday for our body and mind. Today we're at Neil's Yard Remedies factory in Dorset, where we're joined by Tipper Lewis, a naturopath who will be telling us how to spring clean our bodies safely. Firstly, Tipper, can you explain what actually happens to your body naturally in spring?
Yeah, so if we look outside now, you can see the buds on the trees are starting to unfurl, bulbs are sort of thrusting their way up out of the soil. And this sort of natural upward energy that the planet is going through mimics what our body is naturally doing now.
Yeah.
So after winter, it's kind of throwing off the excesses of winter and the foods that we've eaten, and it naturally starts cleansing.
Yeah.
So we might start craving different foods, for instance, that are lighter and greener.
And what are some of the positives that you can expect from a spring cleanse?
Yeah, well, the list is really, really long, but some of the things that people love to see is skin. So your skin has more radiance, so it's balancing itself out. Your moods might balance out, so rather than those peaks and troughs that you have, you might feel much more sort of on a level. Things like clarity, focus, so you might find it easier to do your job and you're less affected by the stress that it brings along. And then how you feel. So often when you're actually in the midst of a spring clean, you might just feel amazing, you might feel really joyous.
So what other herbs and tinctures do you recommend to give a helping hand?
Yeah, so a really good choice is something like the dandelion and burdock formula. So if we went for a little wander around the hedgerows now, we'd see lots of really fun plants starting to pop up. So things like nettles, cleavers, dandelions. And these herbs are naturally starting to appear in spring because that's when we can use them.
And what about vitamin C? Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so vitamin C is really useful when you're doing a spring clean because it's an antioxidant.
Okay.
And antioxidants are helping to protect the body from oxidative stress.
So we're at this beautiful tree house in Somerset. So Tipper, how do we kickstart this cleanse?
Yes, the first thing I always like to do is take a really good hard look at diet and be really objective. So you're really looking at the things that you eat way too much of and thinking about how can I wean myself off of these? What can I replace them with? So maybe, if you love your coffee, that's about swapping it out for green tea. If you love white bread, why not swap it out for some whole grain bread or pulses and legumes? If you have a really sweet tooth, maybe just go for a little bit of dark chocolate.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can be really difficult to be objective about yourself, can't it? So keeping a food diary is a really good idea for a couple of weeks, and then you can look back and see where your sort of main areas that you want to focus on are. The next place I would look at is the gut. So there are some really quick sort of fibre fixes you can do if you find that sort of like that stage really difficult. So I like to make a really quick blend using chia seeds, psyllium husks, slippery elm, and some lovely herbs like peppermint and fennel seeds.
Lovely, yeah.
And you just mix that with water.
So we're well into our cleansing process now. So what's next?
So this week is where we really want to go for it and really sort of support our body's natural cleansing processes. So we can do this really well with things like herbs and tinctures, and that would be primarily bitter herbs.
Right.
But also a really useful thing to do is swap out a meal for either a green juice or a green smoothie.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Now, nettles are really good for a cleansing process
Yeah.
as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
So can you tell us about the benefits?
Oh yeah, well I mean the lovely thing is that at this time of year there's so many things just popping up in the hedgerows that are so good for a spring clean, and nettles are one of them, dandelion and cleavers.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
And these would have been naturally eaten as part of a spring clean. And that's because they're packed full of nutrients, so things like antioxidants, vitamin C and chlorophyll, and that's just what your body needs at this time of year.
So the million-dollar question,
Yeah.
how do we maintain this healthy eating?
Yeah, this is the real thing, isn't it? Because it's so easy. When you've done all this good, then all of a sudden the old habits start to creep back in. So it could be that you start taking more vitamin C, you maybe start incorporating a green juice back into your diet, or maybe you start looking at your digestive health by including more fibre or a probiotic blend.
Yeah.
But the point is, with all of this, is that once you recognise how your body works best, you know how to make those positive changes.
Yeah, it just makes you feel so good, doesn't it?
It does,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you so
That was
much,
a
Tipper. It's
pleasure.
just brilliant.